Why are Nepalese Gurkhas joining the Wagner Group and connecting to India? Brave and fierce Gurkha warriors from Nepal joined the Wagner Group, a private Russian military company. Despite the serious threat, rising wages and the end of conscription in the Indian Army, thanks to the Agnipath plan, attracted the youth to join the army. The rebellion is over and the rebel leaders are now exiled. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko confirmed that Wagner Group CEO Yevgeny Prigozhin is now in exile in Belarus after walking in the Kremlin. Prigozhin, a former close aide to Vladimir Putin, now lives in one of the few windowless hotels in the city of Minsk to protect himself from assassination attempts. What about the army? Russia's FSB announced that it has closed the criminal case against the fighters of Wagner, who tried to overthrow the military leadership of the country. In addition, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that Wagner's soldiers can sign agreements with the Russian army, return to their families or move to Belarus. Heavy military equipment in the hands of the Wagner Group will also be delivered to the Russian army. Is this the end of Group Wagner? If reports are to be believed, the Wagner Group is thriving, finding new members from unexpected corners. Nepal is an area where the company is recruiting new recruits, and the famous Gurkha army has now become the company's youngest and toughest recruits. Let's see what attracts famous candidates to Moscow. What is the motivation behind Russia's private army? What should India do with it? Gurkhas from Wagner. It has been reported recently that some Nepali Gurkhas went to Russia to join PMC Wagner. There is no information about the number of Nepali youth who joined the Russian army. But it is an open secret that young Nepalis are registered as ordinary citizens. For those who don't know, the Gurkhas are the famous army in Nepal and have earned their reputation for fearlessness and strength. Their slogan, "Better to die than a coward," reflects their courage. Their bravery is why Nepal has a long tradition of sending young men to serve as soldiers for the British and Indians. From 1815, young Nepalis were called British Gurkhas, and were drafted into the army. This tradition continued after India gained its independence from the Indian Gurkhas. Their status is so high that recently China has also tried to recruit them into the People's Liberation Army. Now, although there is no agreement between Russia and Nepal, some young Nepalis are finding their way to private military companies. A retired Nepalese soldier told The Diplomat that he found his way to Moscow after working as a security guard in Dubai. He told the newspaper that he went to Moscow as a tourist and was registered at a Russian military headquarters. Why should you join Wagner? So what motivates Nepali Gurkhas to go to Russia and join the private army? There are many reasons for this change. First of all, on May 16, the Russian authorities made it easy to obtain citizenship. They said that the citizenship application process will be easier for those who have served in the military for 1 year. The new law stipulates that military personnel and their families can apply for Russian citizenship without obtaining a residence permit. Also, Moscow does not require knowledge of the Russian language when recruiting foreigners. For many Gurkha workers, the attractiveness of working in Russia is significant, compared to Nepal, where unemployment is as high as 11.2%. One of Wagner's recruits told Nepalese media that he was studying at Russian State University and his visa was about to expire. "I have two options: to return to Nepal without a job or to find a job in the Russian army." He added that even during his education period, his salary and insurance was around 50,000 Nepalese rupees. "If I don't die in a year, I will be here," the Nepali boy told Kathmandu News. Nepali Gurkhas want to join the Russian Wagner Group if India has recruited many Gurkhas in the Indian Army in the past. But the new project of India, Agnipath, became the main topic, if it was stated that the planned troops would be shorter contract and no pension. Unsatisfied with the plan, Nepal halted the 200-year recruitment process until the situation became clear. Also read, How Indian Army will enlist Nepali Gurkhas in Agnipath program and why this is a concern for a better life. As one recruiter told Nepal news agency, I'm considering joining the French army. The process is long and it's hard to get into Europe. Russia is an easy 8. He was also encouraged by the Wagner Group's reputation before the attack, and the formidable campaign in Bakhmut, Ukraine. Also, many believe that Wagner pays and benefits his employees very well, noting that a Wagnerian soldier earns as much as $2,500, 204,000 rupees, per month, while the average salary in Russia is just under $1,000, 81,000 rupees. I want to join. Causes for concern? India noticed this development when former Chief of Staff V.D. Prakash Malik said that India should be careful and not hire military personnel. Speaking to ETV Bharat, the former director said he understands that the lack of opportunity can attract some people. Frankly, I don't know how many Nepalis are joining Wagner in Russia right now. But unless the business is enough, some will be tempted by this kind of work. Reacting to the news at the Congress, Communications Director Jairam Ramesh tweeted, The Gurkhas are considered some of the best soldiers in the world. But the unfortunate Agnipath plan has scuttled the 200-year enlistment process and there will be no Gurkha soldiers in the Indian Army in 2023. This influence led to the Gurkhas being recruited by private military companies such as the Wagner Group, which had recently attacked the Indian Army. Russian government, quote,